Hello there, bestie, and welcome to the Empower and Evolve podcast. I am your host, Kat. I will be your guide on this transformative journey. I'm a hypnotherapist and a mindset coach that is here to reconnect you to your most empowered and liberated self. This podcast is a space where we will explore the vast landscapes of mindset, career, business, cyclical living, energetics, spirituality, and beyond. I invite you to join me as we traverse these expansive topics, igniting the spark of liberation within you and setting the stage for an empowering evolution into your most authentic self. Without further ado, it's time to plunge into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Empower and Evolve podcast. I don't know why I so often do these like silly singing intros. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad I'm finally taking the time to record this episode. So today's topic is your nervous system should always come first. I'm sure you've noticed the trend that is currently happening in the world, on social media, everywhere around you, where we talk a lot about our nervous system. And I love that trend personally. I think it's extremely important, especially as someone who has burnt out my nervous system and who has experienced adrenal fatigue and burnout and all those things, and who has tried to push harder and push through and still show up. I know the devastating effects that our constant go, 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 go society has on our nervous system, and how that ends up costing us so much more than what we even realize. So I love that there's a bit of a trend happening right now where we are talking more and more about the nervous system and how important it is to regulate your nervous system. And there's so many incredible practices out there that help you regulate your nervous system. So you just get to find what works for you. I'll give you some examples, some really simple things today. And I also want to share with you my own story about it. I'll just give you a little bit of intel what the nervous system is anyway, and just all the things that affects it, etc. So yeah, it's gonna be juicy. I'm sure you're gonna love it because I'm gonna love it. First of all, I want to share with you the story of how this podcast episode was born. In the month of April, so a little while ago already, I had committed to a practice of sharing my knowledge with my Instagram family every day for the month of April. So for 30 days, every day, I was going to come onto my stories and share something that I know with my audience to encourage them to learn something new, to try something new, and to grow. I did this for many reasons. A, because it's fun. I love to educate people. I love to gather information. If you know it about human design, I'm a projector. I have a 4-1 profile and I'm a Gemini rising. So between all of these things, I love to gather knowledge. I love to learn. I love to read. And I know a lot. Like I seriously know a lot. And yet not so much now. I feel like all the things that I've been doing these last few months are really working. But back in April, when I first came up with this practice, I had a big case of the imposter syndrome. And I was like, who am I to guide people? So silly. And luckily, that's no longer the case. Doing that practice, though, was part of me also proving to myself how much I actually know. Anyway, I think it came to I think it was day 26 or so. And I noticed I was starting to head towards a burnout through showing up on social media every day. Because I take at least one full day off social media each week. It's normally Saturday. And sometimes I even take the full weekend off. And I really enjoy the time of going offline. Like, yeah, I love to be on my socials and, share and communicate and talk to people, etc. But I also love to be offline. And some days I wonder if I wasn't building a business and if I wasn't a mindset coach and an integrative practitioner, if I would be completely off social media. There's really a part of me that wonders. Anyway, I digress. On around day 26 of this sharing my knowledge train, I noticed I was going towards burnout. It has been so many weeks of, showing up every day, not taking any time off of the socials, and it was catching up with me. And I faced the moment of deciding whether I was going to do what I said I would, what I promised myself, and, share knowledge every single day and just push through and show up, or whether I listen to my body and put my nervous system first. In the past, I would have chosen option 1. Now, I choose option 2. So I took a couple of days off, and on the day that I came back, I actually shared that the like sharing my knowledge was how putting your nervous system should come first. And after that, I still committed to the 30 days. So I still finished the 30 days. It just took into the first couple of days of May as well. If you head to my Instagram, you can see the highlight that I have with those 30 days of knowledge if you wanted to kind of catch up with it. And when I went through all of this, I then on a lot of my coaching calls ended up having a lot of conversations with my clients around the same topic. And I have a couple of really incredible clients who also are coaches and who are building their businesses. And this topic started to come up a lot around, like, oh, I had set all of these goals and I had these timelines and yada, yada, yada. But I'm so tired. I don't have the energy. I don't have the capacity. What do I do? And I teach what I practice. So I teach people to put their nervous system first. First, I get them to like actually check in with themselves, like, is this actually me needing to take a break? Or is this me trying to get out of jail free card and give up on my dreams because life has gotten hard? Like, there's a difference. There is for sure a freaking difference. So that's like my first thing that I get people to do is check in with yourself. Is this actually happening? Or are you just trying to get out of your commitments because things have gotten hard? Anyway, I remember being on a coaching call and I was like, oh, I should just really record a podcast episode on this and talk into the importance of putting your nervous system first. Because this is something I've really learned over the past probably 2 years. And I am still learning this lesson. If I bring in human design into this a little bit right now, I'm a projector. Projectors are non-energy beings. So which basically means that we don't have the same access to energy as generators and manifesting generators. And especially for projectors, rest is really important. And ideally, a projector would only work 3 to 4 hours a day. And what we get done in these 3 to 4 hours, if we are rested and if we look after our projector essence, is like twice as much that normal people would get done. So I've learned how important it is for me to look after myself, do my self-care, take breaks, spend time learning and exploring and reading, and how when I do that, I become so much more productive and I have such a bigger impact on the people around me and my clients. Like, I just show up better. So I have had to learn to put my nervous system first. It's been both through human design and also actually through menstrual cycle coaching. Because for the first 5 years of building my business, I was building my business predominantly in the masculine. And I was on the way to burnout. I was burnt out. Like, I wasn't on the way to burnout. I was burnt out. And eventually I also got adrenal fatigue from all of it. Anyway, I had to learn the hard way to start to embrace more of the feminine traits as well, which is, rest and living cyclically and embracing that. When I am in my inner winter, I take time off. Like, if you look at my calendar, the first 2 days of my bleed, I don't take coaching calls. And ideally, I don't do any work. Sometimes if I feel inspired, I will do work. Like, today is day 2 of my cycle, and I'm actually feeling super in flow with getting some back end work done. But I have no client calls, no nothing. I just work on the back end of my business and do some planning for the month ahead. So this is things I have had to learn over the years. And today I want to share this knowledge with you and talk to you about the importance of putting your nervous system first. But let me take a couple of steps back. Let me tell you about what the nervous system is. The nervous system is essentially our body's communication network. It's made up of two main parts. We have the central nervous system, which includes our brain and our spinal cord. And then we have the peripheral nervous system, which consists of all the other neural elements like nerves and sensory receptors. The central nervous system acts as the control center and processes all of the information and makes all the decisions. It's actually connected to our unconscious mind. And then the peripheral nervous system acts as the messenger, carrying out the commands from the central nervous system to the rest of the body and bringing information back to it. So even from this simple explanation, I'm sure you can gather how important our nervous system is. And it is connected to our unconscious mind. So we need to work with both of these. Like we need to look after both of these things. And I love that all the work I do, like everything I do, really focuses on both of these, the nervous system regulation and working with our unconscious mind. I love it. So let me bring an example to you. When you decide to pick up a coffee, your brain sends signals via the spinal cord and the nerves to your hand muscles, telling them to move. And simultaneously, sensory receptors in your hand send back information about the cup's texture and temperature. So it's this constant two-way communication that is happening in our bodies. So, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We want to look after it. Want to know what the biggest enemy of our nervous system is? Stress. Yeah. Stress. We all experience stress. Every single one of us. And it has huge impacts on the nervous system. When we encounter a stressful situation, our body's immediate response is the fight or flight reaction. I'm sure you've heard it. I'm not going to get into the details of it. But the fight or flight system is an ancient survival mechanism that prepares us to either face danger or run away from it. Well, the problem is that in our modern day, we have stresses and they trigger the fight or flight response. But the problem is that the stresses aren't things like a tiger chasing us down the road or God knows, like a dinosaur like trying to eat us. Like that's not it. Our modern day stresses are things like work pressure, traffic jams, financial worries and stress. And they trigger the same kind of response. Yet it's not that simple to just run away or hide from it or fight it. And because of that, our nervous system is in this constant state of high alert, which is not healthy. And chronic stress can lead to so many health issues like anxiety, like depression, and even physical problems and heart disease. And coming back to the work of Gabor Mate, stress literally makes us sick. Literally, stress makes us sick. It creates dis-ease in our body. And do you know what else causes stress in our body? Repressing and suppressing our emotions. So even though you may have learned to repress or suppress your emotions as a child, as an act of safety, it's actually causing stress in your body. How are you dealing with that stress? Are you allowing yourself to feel your emotions? Are you starting to learn practices that allow you to be in your body and move through things as they come up rather than ignore them and push them to the back because you don't have time to deal with it? Babe, you gotta learn to be with your shit. It's so important because if you don't, it's causing stress in your body, which is impacting your nervous system, which is making you fucking sick. You need to learn to manage your emotions, to live, not manage, to feel your emotions, to move with them, to experience them. And the more that you're able to do that, the quicker your body will actually move through the physical response and be able to navigate it with more ease. Yeah, it's so crucial. So, so crucial. So, managing stress is key. And stress dysregulates your nervous system. So, you want to bring it back to regulation. You want to bring it back to feeling calm. You want to bring it back to feeling centered. And that's why ultimately, whatever you do, your nervous system needs to come first. When you notice yourself getting into that stress response, when you notice yourself getting dysregulated, you need to be able to put yourself first and reevaluate the situations you're in, reevaluate your commitments, and really ask yourself, is this the right thing for me right now? Am I meant to be doing this? Can I be doing this later? Is this really important? What else do I need to be doing? Oh, I'm noting myself getting dysregulated. What can I do that helps me come back into regulation? Like getting clear again with whatever that. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Our Airbnb cleaners just kind of came in and I heard my dog bark. So I'm like, what's happening? I have no idea where my thoughts were. Anyway, you need to come back to regulation. And what helps you regulate your nervous system is going to be different to what regulates mine. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are extremely crucial for our nervous system. And then I'll share with you also some simple practices that you can do to regulate yourself. Rest and recovery are absolutely vital for maintaining a healthy nervous system. Sleep, especially, plays a crucial role because during sleep, our body actually undergoes repairing itself and regenerating itself. Our brain, aka our unconscious mind in this case, consolidates our memories, it processes informations, and then our body clears out toxins. So without adequate rest, our nervous system becomes overworked and less efficient, which can lead to a cognitive decline, mood swings, weakened immune system, disease, you name it. You name it. Rest is so important. But rest can come in many, many ways, in many, many forms. I actually remember when I was at my yoga teacher training, which is like so many, that's just years ago. It's like back in 2016. So yeah, 8 years ago, we learned about the importance of rest. And I think we got taught that humans need 11 hours of rest every day. And yeah, sleep is considered rest. And then our teacher said there's only really a couple of other things that are also giving ourselves the same kind of rest as sleep. And that is meditation, like really gentle breath work, going out for slow walks in nature. So, not some crazy hikes or running, but slow walks in nature, and reading. Not watching TV, because watching TV, there's just so much information constantly coming in that you're still having to process it, versus reading is more like a slower intake of information. And I remember learning that back in 2016 and being like, whoa, most people don't do that. Most people don't get 11 hours. If this is considered rest, most people don't do that. They don't get 11 hours of this every single day. So that was mind blowing for me back then. And I really noticed it's like, oops, coming, like sharing some of my practices. Sleep. I love sleeping. I love sleeping. I sleep like 8 to 9 hours a night. Sometimes it's less, but I try to aim for 8 to 9 hours. And I go for 2 30-minute walks a day with my dog. And I try to not bring any devices or any podcasts and just be like present with my dog and in nature. It's not always the case. I'm not perfect. And then naps are a big favorite of mine as well. So those are some of the ways that I regulate my nervous system. When I notice myself getting dysregulated, I often will go for a walk, even if it's just like a 10-15 minute walk, even if it's raining outside. I find that's one of my favorite ways of coming back to myself, back into regulation, and allow myself to rest and get out of that fight and flight response and just drop back in and calm my nervous system. The other thing that is really great for our nervous system is physical activity. Regular exercise promotes the release of endorphins, which is a natural mood lifter. It also increases blood flow to the brain and delivers more oxygen and nutrients, and that allows your brain to function better. So, especially these kind of like slower paced activities like yoga, like qigong, like tai chi, like going for a walk are great ways of exercising to bring your body and your nervous system back into regulation. So movement is great. Movement is really beautiful. It's your best friend. And in general, mindfulness is huge when it comes to nervous system regulation. Mindfulness and mental health are closely intertwined, and both of those are crucial for the health of our nervous system. So I've already mentioned meditation and deep breathing exercises as part of, rest. They have a profound effect on your nervous system because they actually help you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the rest and digest activities. And it counterbalances the stress-induced fight or flight response. So by incorporating a mindfulness into your daily routine, you can actually train your nervous system to stay calm and focused, even in stressful situations. So it's really like you're giving your mind a workout to build resilience against stress. And I really noticed this with myself. Like mindfulness is huge for me, huge. I like every single day I do something for mindfulness. I have my practices. And I notice when life throws stressful situations at me, I'm able to handle them with so much more ease because of all this groundwork that I put in on a daily basis. And now I'm also really connected with my body and its symptoms and its signals that it sends to me so that when I notice myself getting dysregulated, I can be like, oh, okay, time for a break, time to slow down, time to come back to myself, time to calm myself down. It's so, so cruel. And something that I actually learned during my menstrual cycle coach training when we went into the polyvagal theory was when we're in that fight or flight response and we're in our sympathetic nervous system, what actually happens is, those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see me, but basically like all of the organs below your lungs and heart get shut off because when you are in a stress, fight, and flight response, the blood flow needs to go to the organs that are crucial for you, like running away and moving. And digestion and your reproductive organs are not part of that. So if you're in a chronic stress situation, like this is all turned off down here. Like your reproductive organs and your digestive system, they're not functioning properly. So if you have got issues with either of these systems, ask yourself, what is the role of stress in my life? Where is my nervous system at? Am I looking after myself? Like, these are some big questions you got to ask yourself. They're super crucial. And it's no surprise that we have these health issues. Okay, now for some practical tips for your nervous system health. Number one, establish a sleep routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same-ish time every day if you can. That way you can really regulate your body's internal clock. And also the cool thing that I've noticed with myself is the more regulated I become in my nervous system, the more I actually wake up in the morning without an alarm at the same time every morning. It's pretty cool. It's also a sign that my adrenals are finally happy. If you are someone who has trouble waking up in the morning and then you get like a second spur of energy late at night, this is a surefire sign that your adrenals are out of whack and that your nervous system is stuck in the fight or flight response. So start to look after your sleep routine and make sure you get to bed and you get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And ideally, you take at least 30 minutes before you go to bed to help yourself wind down. So no more devices, or if you are using devices, make sure that they're on that yellowish tint. Blue light blocking glasses. Ideally, just don't be on devices or watching movies right before bed. Instead, read a book, do some yoga, do some stretching, do some breathing, do whatever you want to do, go for a walk, cuddle your puppy, whatever. Just allow your body to start to calm down. Then the second practice is incorporating mindfulness. So spending a few minutes, like literally only takes a few minutes each day to practice meditation or deep breathing exercises. It gets to be that simple. I just take 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to do some pranayama exercises, to do some breath work, to sit in meditation. There's so many tools out there for these kind of things. So if that's something that you'd like to do that you have not yet incorporated, take this as your sign to incorporate daily mindfulness into your life. It's also great to do some mindfulness practices before you go to bed. Third point, stay active. Engage in regular physical activity for at least 30 minutes a day. Whether that's yoga, tai chi, going for a walk, qigong, like whatever. Move your body. Get those endorphins going and feel your nervous system calm down. Tip number 4, eat a balanced diet. Do I really need to go more into it? We are what we eat. So make sure you're eating a healthy diet. We're filled with fruits and vegetables and high quality protein and some good fats. Simple, makes a difference. Pay attention. Next time you eat something that's unhealthy and it's like just processed junk food, see how you feel about 20 minutes afterwards. I bet you will want to sleep. And if you eat a super healthy meal, you'll probably get energized afterwards. Yay! And tip number 5, I've kind of already gone into this a little bit. Limit your screen time. Limit time on devices. Limit time, like, doing those things, especially before bedtime. And also right after you wake up. Give yourself some time at the beginning and at the end of your day to tune in, to drop out all the noise and look after yourself. Put your nervous system first. And it's okay to change plans. It's okay to cancel plans. It's okay to push certain timelines into the future if you have to in order to look after your nervous system. This goes out to especially those of you who have FOMO. Nothing is more important than your nervous system. So look after it because you're worth it. Love you, bestie. Thank you for tuning into the Empower and Evolve podcast today, my dear bestie. If you found this episode inspiring and elevating, I would love for you to consider expressing your support by taking a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Help me extend the ripple of empowerment by sharing this podcast with those in your circle who may resonate with it. And if this episode has struck a chord within you, I extend a heartfelt invitation to share your experience on Instagram and make sure to tag me at It's Coach Kat, and let's spread the love together. Until we reunite in the next episode, may your journey be filled with empowerment, evolution, and the unwavering pursuit of your most authentic self. Now go and liberate yourself. And until next time, take care, my dear bestie.